I want to start off by just kind of recapping a bit of our school resource officer program. It's very interesting because when I look at what it is that we have been able to do over the years, it's transitioned in terms of school safety and security. I remember when I first came on board back in 2010, we had a cohort of school resource officers, and they were pretty much at the majority of our high schools. And it was when I was council president in 2014 that then county executive had said he wanted to look at repurposing some of the school resource officers. There weren't a lot of things happening in our schools, and it seemed as though it was kind of a waste to have officers there because nothing was happening, and had looked at disbanding the school resource officer program, eliminating all of the officers. And it was at that point that I and my colleagues, Councilmember Navarro, Councilmember Katz, Councilmember Reamer was still was on then too, decided to keep a cohort, a smaller cohort of 6 school resource officers, just to be on the safe side, to maintain a response and to be able to continue to keep those relationships. Over the years, that program actually grew. And after 2014, it grew to be at every single one of our high schools. We heard great stories about some of the great things that were happening with the interaction between officers and them being mentors and giving great support to our students. And then we had a number of incidents that happened. And unfortunately, those were nationwide incidents. There were some local incidents as well involving police that really shook some of our community to the core. And there were significant concerns, valid concerns, about whether or not having an officer in front of our children every single day was the best thing for us to do. And it embarked on, it started a conversation amongst our community as a whole around what we felt was going to be the right balance for us moving forward. Many news media outlets, including the Washington Post, reported on the fact that Councilmember Juando and I, who were once on pretty much, I guess, opposite sides, I'll let him speak for himself, but of the issue, came together in terms of understanding that we needed to understand both sides, understand the sides of those individuals who were concerned, certainly seeing stories and continued videotapes of people abusing their power as police officers, oftentimes at the hands at the unfortunate result of sometimes even death of Black and brown and oftentimes lower socioeconomically impacted individuals. But on the other side, we also saw a rise in violence in our communities. We saw, especially in those same communities of color, in those same communities that are socioeconomically impacted, to where we saw rises in crime. We saw rises in abuses, and we also saw rises in incidents in our schools. And so it really became concerning for us. And so we embarked on a project working with our RSSW and our SWAG that Councilmember Juando and I helped to create, Student Wellbeing Action Group, to be able to really start to put all of our heads together and think about what's the best way for us to move forward, ensuring that we can have the safety and security of our students and the greater school community, while also respecting the concerns and the mental health and well-being of those individuals in our schools as well. And we came up with a new iteration led by Chief Jones and the county executive, working together with the RSSW to create a new CEO program, our community engagement officer. And that community engagement officer had protocols, and you'll hear from the chief, you'll hear from the superintendent about what those protocols were and how those were defined as we began the school year. And I will tell you that folks felt a sense of some sort of, okay, we think we have a program that would work. But there were many of us who continuously said, including the superintendent, that this was something that we needed to continue to evaluate because we understood it was new. We understood that this was a new iteration, that we were trying to figure out the best way for us to move forward. But we knew that there might be changes to the program that would need to happen to respond to the needs of our students in our school community. And that's where we are. We have seen, unfortunately, a tremendous rise in violence, not just in this nation. It is not just for us to say that this is only happening around the country and not happening here in Montgomery County. I've seen it. I've seen it at my daughter's high school. It is concerning. We hear it from students. We hear it from teachers. We hear it from parents. We hear it from community members. There's something different. And while we can't necessarily fix what's different by creating a community engagement officer program that will address some of the needs, there's so much more that we need to do, that we as a council, we as a community remain committed to do. But we can also make sure that we're putting forth the right sort of methodology around our community engagement officer program to ensure that we can keep our kids and our school communities safe. And so I'm just really happy to be here today because while it is sobering about the need, it is one in which we continue to collaborate and work together to figure out the best answers for us moving forward. I really want to congratulate our brand new Montgomery County Public Schools Superintendent, Dr. McKnight, and want to personally thank you, Dr. McKnight, for continuing to keep us aware and abreast of all of the issues, spending your waking moments in the evening, having conversations with me and the community about the concerns that are there about keeping kids safe. I've always said that for those folks who want to continue to criticize you and the government as a whole, we don't always have our conversations in public in press conferences. We talk all the time about these issues, and I know that these are the same things that keep you up at night, just like they keep every single one of us up at night. Not just because we're parents of children in our Montgomery County Public Schools, but because we care about all of those students in Montgomery County Public Schools. And so I really want to just close by thanking my colleagues. Each and every one of them has rolled up their sleeves to try and figure out ways in which we can try and address the issues that are before us. Many have written proposals. Councilmember Navarro had a number of proposals that she put forth when we were having this discussion. Councilmember Juando put forth a bill coupled with Councilmember Reamer. Councilmember Katz and I put forth a bill to address some of these issues. Councilmember Albornoz working to make sure that the mental health constructs are there, and we help to support and make sure that we have mental health triage for our individuals. This is truly something that is incredibly important to all of us. And so I really want to say thank you to each and every one of you for everything that you've done to help get us to this point where we can continue to lead with the safety and well-being of our students and our school communities.